Meanwhile, Iranian strikes on Israel caused injuries and significant damage in several cities over the weekend. Israel says Iran fired ballistic missiles at the southern cities of Dimona and Arad. No deaths were reported, but more than 100 people were injured. Iranian state media said the attacks were aimed at an Israeli nuclear research facility around 10 kilometers south of Dimona. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Deona on Sunday and accused Iran of targeting civilians with its strikes, describing the regime in Tehran as a danger to the entire world.
An explanation.
More on this. I spoke a short while ago with William Alberque. He's a former NATO official and now a senior fellow with the Pacific Forum. I asked him what actually goes on at the Dimona nuclear site that Israel calls a research center.
It's a very secret complex out in the middle of the Negev desert. There is a town relatively nearby, but we're talking about a sprawling, closed complex. It was built around 1958 and has been expanded and changed. There's been underground facilities built there as well. The centerpiece is a reactor that they use. They call it a research reactor. We suspect that they use the reactor to very quickly irradiate nuclear fuel to accelerate the manufacture of plutonium. They also enrich their own uranium. They separate the plutonium from the fuel, and they most likely manufacture nuclear weapons there. So this is their main nuclear weapons research, design, fuel fabrication, and manufacture facility.
So you're saying the Israelis are very secretive about this. I mean, is there any monitoring, proper monitoring to say what really is there? Can we say with any certainty whether there's enriched uranium at the site, perhaps even nuclear weapons?
We can definitely say that there's enriched uranium at the site, sure, because there is a working reactor there and other nuclear facilities that you can observe from space. In the late 1960s, they allowed American inspectors in there, but in the documents that we've seen from those inspections, even they think that the Israelis were hiding things very effectively, and they could not certify that the facility was not being used for nuclear weapons. They are not a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and they do not have a comprehensive safeguards agreement with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which would allow on-site inspection. So no IAEA inspectors have ever been there. And Israel, as a policy, has never admitted to having any nuclear weapons. But again, from declassified US documents and from just observation of what's happening at that facility, it's not hard to guess that this is a nuclear weapons manufacturer facility.
So how well is the Dimona site protected against the kind of strikes that Iran is carrying out now and is still capable of carrying out, it seems?
It is an incredibly well-protected site. I would go so far as to say that other than maybe the Prime Minister's residence, this is the most protected site in all of Israel. In fact, an Israeli fighter jet was once shot down for flying too near the facility by Israel's own anti-aircraft defenses. So this is a place that has point defenses against drones. It has portable air defense systems. It has mobile air defense systems, fixed air defense sites, and then it's integrated into Israel's full Iron Dome and the Arrow system as well. So it's well protected against long-range missiles, short-range missiles, drones, aircraft, and as an individual, you just can't get anywhere near it. It is an incredibly well-protected site.
Okay, so it sounds like the site itself is pretty well protected, but the area around it doesn't seem to be. I mean, the Iranians did strike something not that terribly far from it. If the site were to be struck by a missile or drone, what dangers could that pose for the civilian population there?
Well, depending on what it hit, depending on what a missile would hit or a drone inside the facility, there could be significant risks. We're talking about a nuclear facility. As you'll recall from what was going on with Ukraine, the threat of Russia striking the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant was something that actually got the IAEA Director General on site at that facility to try to ensure that it's protected. So you're talking about a working reactor. If that is damaged significantly by a medium-range missile, you could talk about release of radiation. But also you're talking about plutonium separation, fuel handling, fuel manufacture, fuel storage, nuclear weapons storage. So yes, a direct strike on one of the critical nuclear facilities inside Dimona would stand to risk the release of radiation to the outside environment.
I mean, this is a difficult topic to talk about given the secretive nature of Israel's nuclear program. But how much would you say is Israel's nuclear program dependent on what goes on at that Dimona facility?
Oh, I would say it's 100% critical. Dimona is the main, not necessarily the soul, but it is the center of all of the nuclear weapons research, of the work, of the separation, of the manufacture. So yes, it is 100% critical. Israel has not built up large-scale redundancy for their nuclear program. It is Dimona, and that would make it a major target, but also, again, would make sure that Israel would do everything they can to protect it.
Are there other nuclear facilities in Israel that could be targeted, or facilities that this one at Dimona is dependent upon?
No, Dimona is made specifically to be able to act completely separately from the rest of the Israeli energy production or any other facility within Israel. In fact, Dimona does not even produce power for the local town. It's not hooked up to any kind of power network. So Dimona is intended to be completely solo, completely isolated. It makes it a vulnerability, but at the same time, it also protects other parts of Israel from being targeted the way Dimona would be targeted.
William, thank you very much. That was William Alberque, former NATO official and now a senior fellow with the Pacific Forum.
Thank you.